Good morning, Jimmy 老师. Good morning, everyone. I hope none of you were waiting about half hour before the call, as I kind of was so focused on doing something, I forgot to turn on the music for all of you. But in any case, welcome to Irvine's online meditation session today. We are a local chapter of Heart Chant, which is a non-religious spiritual practice with over 2,000 years of lineage. So we do have a meditation session conducted online by various centers every single day. You could find that if you're watching this on Facebook, it's streamed live via Facebook, and you can review the recordings afterwards. And if during the meditation you have some questions, the instructor will open the meeting for your ability to ask questions. So I did not get the topic for today. I'm going to turn it over to Instructor Jimmy, and he will surprise you with what he has to say today. Enjoy your session.
Thank you, Christina. Good morning, everyone. I was asked to lead the next 3 sessions until end of August, so that the rest of the instructors be able to take a rest. Let's take 5 minutes to calm ourselves down and rid of our monkey mind and stay calm and content. Okay. Let me check whether my microphone is working. Okay, my microphone is working. During this very brief 4-minute silence, any of you can feel the pulse inside your body. Meditation is a inner looking, inner observing, inner sensing practice. In other words, instead of worried about or concerned about or sense what the external world is, COVID-19, kids going to school, I'm gonna go to get my groceries, or I should have a good bottle of wine. All these are external focused activities. Meditation is an internal sensing, internal observing practice. As a matter of fact, meditation is just a prelude. Hartsan is a practice. It's a practice including meditation. Meditation is a method to enable us to always look inward instead of look outward. Because inside, we have everything we need. We have this, we call it awareness or a sensing organism, the sensing ability that enable us to sense what's going on, what's really going on in the world. So that we know the truth of what's going on, what's really going on in the world, so that we can live accordingly. I was told a very simple conversation between God and a fellow human being. The fellow human being asked God, if you're all loving, if you're all mighty, why the world is full of miseries? And what do you think the God's response was? The God response was, really? Come on again? In Spanish, it's called ¿qué? In other words, if you look at the world from a universal perspective, there are the clouds, there are the blue skies, there are the rainforests, there are the birds sing, there are flowers bloom. The world is in peace. The world is in harmony. Everything coexists with everything else. There's no war, there's no conflict, there's no misery, right? Everything has its purpose. The ants has its purpose. The tigers has its purpose. We humans have our own purpose. Just a lot of times we're not aware of what that purpose is. That's why this Hartsan practice helps us. It's not, a cure-all. It just helps us to understand the method to harmonize with the universe, be truly part of the universe without conflict, without self-indulged righteousness, without our ego manifested actions and thoughts. So therefore, Hartsan practice, meditation is just the beginning. It's just a prelude. We wanted to take this practice, the result of the practice, I would say the state of being resulted from this practice, which is a very calm mind, which is a very steady state of spiritual being, which is not fluctuating, it's not affecting, it's very stable, it's always very wise. And bring that state of being into our everyday life. So if you meditate an hour a day, this meditation state that you reached during this hour should really be utilized as a base for the rest of the 23 hours. So let's talk about some of the different perspectives of living in a meditative state. These samples are trivial. These samples are not essential. These samples only illustrate the point. Let me give you some samples come to my mind right now. I purposely picked or thought of or came to me these very trivial samples just to prove a point. Take food, for instance. Is there a difference between Coke and Pepsi? Is there a difference between a Trader Joe ice cream versus a Haagen-Dazs ice cream? Is it important to have a beef that's cooked medium or medium rare? These are just food. We don't really need to be that picky. If your wife, your husband bought the wrong brand, which is fine, it's still ice cream. The steak may be a little bit bloody, but it's still steak. I must wear Polo. I must wear Chanel. These are material things. I'm sure most of you are easy to conquer. Those material temptations and differences, I'm sure, being a hard time practitioner, it doesn't really bother you. But I just wanted to point out the difference. In other words, whenever our mind started to discriminate, start to be influenced, even just for a few seconds, of these everyday living phenomena, we're no longer pure. We are already affected by our brain. Some say life is just 3 meals and a bed and a roof. If you think about it, that's really true. I just read it sometime last week. Life is but 3 meals, a bed, and a roof. My father often said when he dies, there's only one coffin he needs. He does not need 5 coffins. My son and his wife is contemplating buying a new car. And they've been talking about the requirement of their new car. What kind of performance, what kind of cornering, what kind of maneuverability, what size. Yes, it is fun. I mean, it is exciting to shop for a new car. I remember the first car I bought when I came to the United States. That was 1965. I bought a French car called Simca from a Pasadena old lady, which is a 10-year-old car, for $100. I learned how to change the carburetor, how to adjust the points and condensers, or even the brakes myself. I had really fun with that $100 car. And I think 2 years later, I sold it for $150. All these material things, I'm sure it's easy for everyone to recognize and not be trapped by it, whether it's food, living conditions, transportation, clothing. What's difficult, a little bit more challenging, is people relationships. A lot of times when we love somebody, we have expectations. Because my upbringing, my father is in the entertainment industry. So he came home always late, like 12, 1 or 2, and he sleeps until 10, 11 o'clock. So when I went to bed, he's not home yet. When I get up, he's still sleeping. I hardly meet him. He's a disciplinarian, very, very bad temper. So I'm so glad that we don't meet. My mother, however, on the other hand, only cares whether I eat 5 bowls of rice or 4 bowls of rice. I can get a C or I can get a D in report cards. It doesn't bother her. So I was never asked what to do. I will never have any pressure. And I was so happy. I mean, grammar school, middle school, high school, university, I had straight A's all the time without any effort because there was no pressure. So since I experienced that, I applied the same principle to my sons and daughters. I never asked them to do this. Whenever they asked me a question, I said, try out yourself. That's the best way they'll learn. Instead of telling us, don't do this, don't do that. So they're chicken to everything. That's not education. Because God's, children come through us, not from us. We have no right to dictate their lives. We should have no expectation. And now my son is 40, my daughter is 37. I think they're both a little bit older than that. Daughter probably 38, 39, son's probably 41. They're all brought up well. I mean, they're all independent under the COVID-19 conditions. They both have good jobs, good pay, working from home very happily. And very nice to me. My daughter comes in every 2 weeks and to do grocery shopping because they don't want me to go out. I still sneak out, to play golf games twice a week. But other than that, I'm happy at home because I have no expectation from my sons and daughters. I have no expectation for myself. I have no expectation, period. So while we have no expectation, it's a lot easier to tolerate everybody. When we have no expectation, we have no judgment. Whenever we're unsatisfied or angry or complaining, We should really ask ourselves, who is that is complaining and happy? Is that the big I inside? The God inside? Or the little I? The one who thought he knows everything? I always say, ignorance is not knowing. Ignorance is, I know everything. Don't tell me nothing that I don't know. Truly, really? Do we really know everything? Do we really know God's plan for each of us? If we do, we should accept everything and we should reject nothing. There should be no good moments and no bad moments. Every moment should be the same. Lately, I discovered something interesting happening to my life. That is, I have more time to do everything. I'm no longer rushed. Nothing is rushing. Whenever I'm doing something in the moment, that seems everlasting. That seems always in peace. That's a wonderful feeling, you know. So therefore, the Heart Sutra said so, Sifu said so, all spiritual teachers said so. We should disconnect from the phenomena observed through our five senses. The eyes, the nose, the tongue, the taste, the voices. They're just frequency. You see, once these frequencies connect with our brain, start to formulate opinions. And all these opinions are based on our upbringing, our experience, our knowledge, our research on the internet. None of them is complete. This is always partial from different perspectives. If we can be able to get 100 or 1,000 perspectives of a single phenomenon in 1 second, then we will see truly what is that for. The true purpose of that phenomenon or that object or that relationship or that happening. But we can't. Most of us are so tunnel visioned. We only see a very teeny weeny hole. We see through this tiny hole. And we thought we know everything. We thought this is the end. This is end of me, end of the universe. Last session, I shared with you my spiritual journey, from physical pleasure to mental pleasure to spiritual state, try to maintain a constant spiritual state of peace and calm. It's so hard. It's so hard. Because, as I mentioned, the basic teaching of Sifu is really just detached from forms and in sync with the universe. Detached from all forms is the exercise for the little I. In sync with the universe is the practice to connect to the big I. Very simple. Just like Shakyamuni Buddha said, detach from all Dharma and the ego. You will be enlightened like me. But if you think a little bit deeper about this very too simple concept, detach from forms. If at that moment, let's say you saw an accident, somebody died. Sorry, it just came to me. And you were shocked. And you say, I should detach from forms. Do you realize when you think that you should detach from forms, you're no longer in a spiritual state. You're using your brain. Detach from forms is a brainless, mindless, spiritual state of being. It's the same practice as connect to the universe. Once we connect it from the universe, we'll be detached from forms. But if you're thinking, I should detach from forms, you're still practicing with the little I. Just like the statement, I want to be enlightened, I want to be Buddha, you're still separating yourself, your little I, from the big I. There should have, no, should is kind of a strong word. It's best not to have the little I surface at all. Just maintain the state of the big I in all relationships, in all daily living, in all the little stuff. There's a lot of phrases for that, like let go, put down, detach, tolerate, fulfill, harmonize. They all point to the same thing, the same issue. Accept, surrender, you know? It's just different words for the same thing. So all we really needed to do is keep in that state of being, that purity, that thoughtless, mindless, that contentment, that peace, that stability, that sort of all-knowing awareness. It's very hard to describe what that all-knowing awareness is. But once you reach that state, you'll know, I understand. I can accept why. I have no complaints. I see it. I know it. I can live with it. Not just sometime, but all the time. Once you reach that state of awareness, of that peace, of that contentment, you really don't want anything else. That is the ultimate state of being. The little I doesn't surface. There's no tragedy. There's no pain. There's no disappointment. It's not a matter of choice. It's a matter of practice. We don't really need to select. We want to do this. We want to do that. Because once you start to select, it's still a mental process. So hard time practice is a true spiritual practice. It does not require your participation of your brain or your mind or your knowledge or your experience. That's why the sixth patriarch become enlightened without reading capability. I was told the Rulian Sijie, Sifu is one of Sifu's disciple. Doesn't read and write either. But every time I saw her, she is so happy. She's always smiling. She's always in such a state of being. It's very hard to describe. And if that's what you're seeking, live a everlasting contentment and peace and love, then practice diligently, not just 1 hour a day, but 24 hours a day. Even while you sleep, try to maintain a spiritual state at all times, without judgment, without any expectation, without any methods, any dharma, any teaching, logic, just in that spiritual state, without trying. It's effortless. If you try, that means you're using your mind, you're using your brain. That's what's come to my mind this morning. So, does any of you have any questions? Okay, then let's meditate and there are many different methods of meditation, but the main purpose is really try to ask us to relax and focus and enjoy. Let's do the basics, the belly breathing, Let's just, because any kind of practice, even the simplest ones like belly breathing, enable us to reach the state of Canding. We just have to relax and focus and enjoy. I always emphasize these three states is not, I'm not sure exactly the right definition, but the three words are words are very dangerous. See, these are really three things are really one, because if you need to relax before you can focus on something. If you're not relaxed, if you jittery, if you have a monkey mind, you worry this and that, you cannot focus. And if you're not relaxed and focused, you cannot enjoy. These three things are really one thing. So I can just enjoy, right? Because you need to relax and focus to enjoy. Focus should also be mindless. Focus should also be, because you see, focus redirect your mental thoughts into something, into some area. Okay, so that you'll be not thinking. But focus still has an objective. So I have to come up with a different words to describe what focus is. Focus is just the beginning state. And once you start to focus deeply, you get into a state of Canding. Once you're into that state of Canding, you're beginning to see joy. So relax, focus, and enjoy is really one thing. That spiritual state of wonderfulness. But it's impossible to explain. You just have to experience it. Yeah. Okay, let's give it a try, shall we? Sit up straight so that all the organs in the right place. The chi flow is efficient. And whether you sit on a chair or on a ground or anywhere Do not move. Because once you move, your mind moves. Once your body moves, your brain moves. So no motion. So that we can calm down our mind. And curl the tongue and touch the roof of our mouth. And relax and focus on our breath. Focus on the path of our breathing. Sends the qi into our nose, into our throat, into our lung, into our belly. And the key word is SSDL, slow, silent, deep, and long. Inhale tiny bit at a time continuously, don't pause. Once you're fully inhaled, usually about 10, 12 seconds, then hold it for 3, 4, 5 seconds. Then exhale as slowly as you can. Don't use a clock or listen to the ticking of the clock. Just do it naturally, without effort. Don't force yourself to stay that long. Just naturally long, naturally smooth. Slow, silent, deep, and long. So once you relax and focus on the path of breathing, you'll be aware there is a rhythm flowing in your body. You'll be aware that your body, from your shoulders to your arms to your legs, are pumped up. It's filled with qi, or filled with energy, or filled with some form of power. Your face becomes a little bit warm. Your forehead becomes a little bit warm. Just examine your body. Now, as you inhale, you will find your skin become a little bit cooler. As you exhale, you will find your skin become a little bit warmer. It is so because your skin is also breathing. As you inhale, you feel you're being energized. You feel uplifting. You feel a little powerful. You feel on top of the world. You feel nothing can stop you. As you exhale, you should feel relaxed. Everything is in peace. Everything is harmonized. Everything is content. You're in a very satisfying state of being. Continues to repeat the inhaling. Try to enjoy the power of inhaling. Try to enjoy the blessings of inhaling. Try to enjoy the state of exhaling. Try to be grateful in the state of exhaling. So relax, focus without our mind, and enjoy. Continue to enjoy the belly breathing. And bring that state of power, contentment, satisfaction, energy into the rest of your daily lives at all times, at each moment, at every second. Once you're in that state, there will be no pain, no worry, no anxiety, no dissatisfaction. It's not something that you can pick on. It will occur naturally only if you practice it. Your body should feel a little bit warmer now. You should feel tingling sensations through your body. You should feel everything is coming alive. There is a hidden energy flow that filled with your body. That will give you power to conquer the evils. That will give you courage to tolerate and accept the bitterness of life. Now continue at your own pace for as long as you can.